If there's anything that you take away from this video, I want it to be this first initial message, okay? Read the instructions. Do not use an impact gun. Make sure that you have good thread engagement. Make sure you clean all debris and make sure that you clean out all the powder coating out of the threads. Because if you don't clean out all of the powder coating, all of the debris, everything that could possibly, you know, make thread engagement a problem, you will be buying one of these $160 die sets to repair your adjustment bearing, I guess, with your Chris Alston Chassisworks rear sway bar that goes on your Fab9 housing. And guess what? I don't have anything else I'm going to be using this die for. So I bought it. I used it. I feel like I've got some money worth out of it. But I will likely never need another 1 7/8 by 20 die. We got some car parts today, and you're not going to believe this. I have been going this long without this one suspension component on the rear. Let's get into it. It's in this box, and it's from our boys at Chris Alston Chassisworks. Now I got the car lifted up. Let's look underneath here, and can anyone spot what is missing? Huh. What could it be? Yeah, so if you guess rear sway bar, I don't have one. I basically have been doing this road racing thing on hard mode with no rear sway bar. Now, at one of the last track outings, I had the photographer come up to me and go like, hey man, your front end looks all put together, but the rear looks like it's like wildly twisting. Do you have a broken sway bar or something? And I'm like, I don't have one. And his eyebrows raised up. Also, a bunch of my other friends were like, dude, we don't know why you're losing your rear end so easily. And yeah, that's because I'm missing a sway bar. So this is what we got. We basically have a Fab9 housing. These are nice billet arms. We are going to be welding these guys to frame rails. That's why the car's kind of backed in over here closer to the weld machine. But this is a 3/4 inch splined rear sway bar from Chris Alston Chassisworks to work with their Fab9 poly 4-link that I have equipped on the Mustang. So I'm going to go read instructions that I found in the box so we can get started. Alright, so basically the first bit of instructions is going to be some assembly. So we got to basically rotate this thing about like 45 degrees, slip it in, and it's supposed to measure about like 2.5 to 2 5/8. So he said rotate that thing like 45 degrees. Ah, okay, that one went in. Garage floor is relatively flat. Said 2. Oh, dude, check that out there. That's at like 2 3/8. So do it again. All right, see if that did money. That is like, that's exactly where it needs to be right there. Instructions now say we gotta assemble this thing. So I got a rubber mallet. I gotta tap these guys a little further in. But you're going to take these bolts with the little silver lock washer, go with it, and that's what's going to lock down the position of these splined, wonderful billet arms. Okay, anyways, so I got this one kind of loose, but basically you're wanting to put this in deep enough, because like as you can see, you wouldn't be able to thread a bolt down there, so you got to slide it, because there's a section, there's a relief for the bolt to go down. That's how far you're gonna slide these in. Blue Loctite. Let's get this guy going by hand. So tight, but just keep in mind this is aluminum. You don't wanna hurt it. Not cross-threading it, but this one just needs some encouragement. All right, so we got to toss in our. They call this a bearing. It could be, you know. I'm not saying it isn't, but basically got, you know, good old anti-seize right there helping out. We're gonna toss this guy up in here, and we're gonna get started with the threads. Ugh. Yeah, I'm just gonna get it started. I'm thoroughly confused. How do I mean, alright, not good at all. So I was having some trouble, but I've got this assembled, which is nice, done. I've got one side of the pivot ball bearing, which is basically goes in that big hole, this guy right here. But this side, oh dude, it stripped the threads. I got no idea. I did this by hand. I followed the instructions, did this by hand. This is so easy to get misaligned, and it has like the fine threads, but this is so easy to get misaligned and freaking now the housing, those threads don't look like they're stripped. They don't look like they're stripped. I tried everything. I have a little thread chaser file where if you had the patience to thread every single one of them. I tried that. I tried sanding it down to see if I couldn't get it to where it will clear the threads, and then it'll catch on the next set of threads. That didn't work. I put anti-seize. I lubricated. I tried clearing off some powder coat. That might be part of the issue, is that there's powder coat in the threads or something. I tried having all that clear. So it's getting late. I'm going to basically call Chris Alston Chassisworks in the morning so that I can see if I can't get a replacement one of these guys, because that would absolutely suck to get this far, right? Because it's all that's left is if I got this in, all that's left is to weld these guys to the frame, and that's easy peasy lemon squeezy. We just crank up the welder and we just grind, clean, weld. I'm alright, pretty excited because drillsandcutters.com drillsandcutters.com, they had the die, which I've already gotten the piece loaded in, and I've already started to cut the threads. I like this thing. We got it in the vise. We're gonna slowly, I've already made one pass and kind of loose to kind of rehab this part of the threads. All right, so if you've ever used tap and die sets and you get to like these larger ones, there's kind of a joint here. There's a set screw in here that you adjust. So basically, I've already made the first pass with this being loose. And then that way, you're not just tightening this thing down like to unlock some ungodly, you know, tightness. And it has to cut all of those threads, because when you're talking about like a diameter as big as this one, which is 1 7/8 inches by 20 thread pitch, I don't know what that measurement exactly is, but anyways, basically it's too much torque, especially if you're doing it with hand tools and securing it with like a little vise like that. So it's take baby steps. Okay, now will this fix my issue? Hopefully. If it doesn't, I have a replacement one of these guys on the way. For the most part, this is for educational purposes, so that if someone else is ever did a bonehead move like I did and try to thread this thing in with their powder coat on their rear end, they'll know the steps that need to be taken. For the most part, we're doing this for science. All right, so got a little flathead, and I'm going to tighten this down about half a turn. And yeah, actually we're gonna go quarter turn. Quarter turn actually kind of did a lot there. So all right, going to secure the guy in the vise. I don't want the vise to impact how tight that is. So all right. Then we're gonna go here. Actually, I did this by threading the good side through, and I'll get my little extension that can help me guide this. There we go. Let's see. Things are looking kind of shiny, feeling kind of sharp. Still got a ways to go though. Fresh threads. We got the threads started, but not in the way you hope for them to be started. I know. I'm about to see myself get roasted in the comments, but it's not stupid if it works. Okay. This is tough. Real tough. Real tough. So I got that one kind of, the passenger side screwed in. I'm trying to get this guy down further so that the sway bar can actually go in, because right now I've got like 3/4 of an inch to an inch of threads to kind of run down. Big old long stick. That wasn't easy. Whew. All right. Before you install one of these sway bars, make sure you eat your Wheaties. Get you a nice long pipe to help with leverage. Alright, so here's kind of what it looks like. It's going to go right around this bottom. Basically all that's left is I got to weld the little tabs that go to the frame so that I can bolt it up. And that way that'll be the connection to the body. That one's all torn up, but it's threaded. That one's all good, nice and tensioned, because I can practically hang on to the deal. Shake the car from that sway bar, so I know it's been tightened down on both sides. So shout out to Drills and Cutters for having this available, because that basically saved my kit, or saved me from ruining my whole kit. But let's see where we are in the instructions. Do not use an impact wrench, please. Yeah, don't do that. You'll damage the threads pretty easily, and you make sure you clean the threads. It's super. If you learn anything from this video and you are installing a sway bar onto a Chris Alston Chassisworks Fab9 rear housing, make sure that you clean out the threads. You will severely make this much longer than it needs to be, because this was supposed to be like a 1 hour, 2 hour install. It's now become like 3-day install. So continue to tighten the adjuster to the anti-roll bars until they bottom out against the bearing. Done. Verify that the anti-roll bar is center. Yep, I double checked that. They are pretty much centered. Put thread lock ring on the end of the axle. Is that a thread lock ring? Alright, gotcha. These guys. Okay. Basically, what does it say here? Thread lock ring into the axle bracket, tighten to 50 foot-pounds. Alright, so the lock nuts were fairly simple to just thread right on in. Alright, so it looks like the next, so we tightened down the lock nuts. Now is to assemble our end links. Alright, so here is the remaining hardware that I have. So this is obviously the bracket that gets welded to the frame right here, right? Goes up there. I can tell you this guy is going to be the bolt to one of the end links, and I can tell you based on this guy, there's a sleeve here that's going to be the bolt that goes to the end link right here. Pretty awesome. Where does this guy go? And this washer and this lock washer are in the same package, so I'm running out of holes for where the hardware goes. But we're gonna hold on to these guys. We're gonna put these guys right safe and sound over here for right now. Now we're gonna measure these guys. So in the instructions, these were flat. These guys were dead flat. We got plenty of clearance, you know, from the housing, and this is shaped properly. We followed the instructions of where the splines would go. So now we need to catch these guys. Got some C-clamps. It's gonna hold it all in place. I'm still unsure of where this hardware goes, but we're still hanging on to it. But basically I have a C-clamp that's holding on the guy right there. I gotta go get a Sharpie to go mark it. So I'm gonna mark it. I've measured these guys. They're the same length, same angle, same placement. So being that that's all in the same spot, we're gonna mark it. I'm probably gonna go get my little Lincoln welder and I'm gonna tack weld these things. Sway bar is welded in. Pretty much permanent here. But we need to double check that we have good clearance before we go paint it and nut and bolt this thing down. I probably should have done that when it was tacked up. Another lesson to be learned. Okay. Alright. Slowly letting down. Hey! So fully extended, we make no contact. Alright, so gonna slap on some paint and then bolt this thing all back together, set it back on the ground. And that's gonna be all she wrote for a rear sway bar. I feel like I've been racing on hard mode this whole time, because even lifting up the car and checking the clearance and how the suspension's now moving, oh yeah, that thing's making a difference. And I don't know. Something tells me this is going to solve the issue that I was having when I was at the track day, where under heavy braking, just a twitch of the steering wheel upsets the rear end, snaps it around. So maybe, I don't know, I don't know. We'll see. We definitely got to do some testing, do a little bit of suspension tuning. All right, so I got the brackets painted. They are locked down. Everything's been nut, bolt, check, tightened, torqued, everything. This thing ain't going nowhere. So, also, I still don't know what this hardware is for. It's almost unfair, and I've been unfair to myself about this, because the car feels incredible. It feels like the rear end is tied down, which the rear end, guess what? It sure is tied down. It's tied down by an amazing 3/4 inch rear sway bar. It feels planted back there. Like I can't tell you, like, the amount of confidence that car right there feels like when going through the S turns. I've been making this so much more difficult than it already is. That's incredible. Anyways, jeez. Guys, if you like this, hit the like button. Comment down below. Just call me an idiot in the comments, because it took me this long to get a rear sway bar. If it's your first time here, think about subscribing. I'll see you guys later.